Hello everyone, Agent Fluffy here, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, Trials and Tribulations, Recipe for Turnabout Part 17. Now let's get to the witness testimony, shall we? La victim, Monsieur Erg, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember that old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Erg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting. Just so it's clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. The food pardon. Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I want this mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Oui. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Cross-examination in the restaurant. Was he alone at his table as well? Oui, I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table.
Objection.
Ha! Unfortunately for you, Miss Wright. Yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has he been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip and nothing more. So, old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. I just had to take a sip of drink. How many minutes after? So, you're saying that not much time elapsed between when the victim and Mr. Kudo arrived? Oui, that is correct. But that still leaves the possibility that something happened in that gap of time. And by your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Let me see. Approximately 2 minutes, I would say. 2 minutes? That's all? It seems unlikely that anything untoward could have happened in such a short time. Rats, I knew I shouldn't have pursued this line of questioning. So, your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim?
Objection.
How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Wright? You'd never catch me drinking the same blend twice. Huh? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant. But you're wasting your time. You can't grind birdseed to make coffee, if you catch my drift. But there's a hole in this testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. Did you see him? Oh, whoops. No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes, $500,000!" Presumably the defendant heard that too then, correct? Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove. And what about Mr. Kudo? The old man choked on some bird seeds that got stuck in his throat. Seriously, now yet another incident on our hands. And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry? What do you mean? There is the renowned chef, Jean Armstrong, and the tragic poet Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? Oui, I was writing a poem, an angry tale of the chef and $500,000 in debt. An angry tale of a chef and $500,000 of debt. Cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called Pourquoi. It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for the court. Please don't. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call. I asked the old man to call from the payphone. By your own argument, Wright. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Bien, it seems that the shadow of doubt has been lifted, n'est-ce pas? I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Elk, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged his act? We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony. My old man, you mean Vito Koto, correct? Oui, he comes off in my special coffee. Let's see. Maybe I should ask about it in a little more detail. Okay. What time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Koto arrived? Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur. I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 o'clock p.m. and 2:10 p.m., no? Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. Ha ha ha! I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it for you. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? Ha ha ha. I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming the song to himself. I remember the old man riding alone after him just after 2 p.m. Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think really odd, I am sure it was just after 2. Oui. It is the time I stopped serving the lunch menu. Quite right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time. I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. Of course not. Oh, would you look at that? So much lunchtime already. Witness, get on with your testimony, please. Well, remember what the frickin' lottery thing is? Experience the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday at 1:30 p.m. It's not 2 o'clock. I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. What do you mean? At a time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was called Millionaire Radio. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announce the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be the show Mon Egg was listening to.
I can't see any problem with this testimony, Miss Wright.
I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I'm sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Trite, if you have one. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life.
It's on here, 1:30?
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over, there's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Trebion that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elg acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness.
It surely seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how can you explain the time discrepancy?
Objection!
Quite a performance, Trite. You are almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this? Music Theory 101? I know a certain friend of mine that does music theory. Like, I know a certain muse tree that taught me things about music theory and everything. Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it is now just after 2 p.m. The phony Elg is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain then when the real Glen Elg is? How do you explain then where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I had to spell this out for the court. However, at that time the real Glen Elg was already dead.
That's certainly the obvious conclusion.
Objection!
Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. But what? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours? Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim?
The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body?
Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead.
Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of male Mr. L concealed?
Inside Trebion. It would have to be too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Trebion.
Interesting. But where could the body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Trebion is the kitchen itself. The body was in here.
I see.
Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden at that location? Because it's the bottle of medicine right here. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle?
No. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The eye is quality only for me. Where is that bottle found, Miss Wright?
Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Trebion.
Eh? Quoi? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils.
But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication.
What kind of medication?
I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an otolaryngological clinic and was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle matches the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Glenn Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen?
Monsieur!
Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back.
No! Order, this extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Glenn Elg? Never! I could not do such a horrible thing. No! Oh! Mr. Godot?
The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules.
Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you have by now?
Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend?
Seafood de pardon! Please, you must hear me out! It is a trap! Listen to me! Por favor!
Wait, you're speaking Spanish now?
Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong. Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong. And por favor is Spanish.
Just say, oh my fucking God! Okay. I know some Spanish. And I was like, oh, that ain't French. I was like, wait a minute, that ain't French at all. It's Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it?
No, absolutely none.
Let's hear it. You got one shot, right, Gramps?
Witness, the court will permit you a chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. As does my gavel. Oui, it is clear.
What do they always say in the movies? I got a bad feeling about this. Yup.
Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong.
Witness testimony, the confession.
It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there is a reason why I could not refuse. I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. You were forced. By who? I cannot say, or I will be erased.
Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Elk died, was he really the only person at his table?
It was.
There was another man. I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth.
You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright.
There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and tell him to tell us the name. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Why can't I fucking read that? Anyway. Cross-examination. The confession. Did you carry the body by yourself?
I carried him, and I carried Maggie too.
Maggie too?
When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there. I could not leave her there.
But why did you hide the...
But why did you hide the bodies?
What man? Who was he?
No, I cannot say. I fear for my life.
He's really scared. I just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him.
But why would you go along with this man?
And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong? Oops.
You know, monsieur.
Yes?
Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment.
A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. And a bit too male. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. You'll just have to prove it with evidence. So, you are claiming that all you did was hide the bodies? Is that correct?
Oui, that's right. If we are to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything. You must make clear the identity of the man who ordered you to do this.
He's already confessed this much. He might as well stop dancing around the real issue. Yeah, but he really doesn't want to tell us who the killer is. Let's sock it to him, Nick! Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And... I know exactly who this man is. It's him! Let's end this dance of ring around the rosy, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man that you've been referring to.
Ah! Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom. This man is Rio Tigre. He is a manager of a loan officer called He is the manager of a loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre, at least not when he had this on you. The fucking loan contract. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you.
Oui, it is as you say.
Mr. Armstrong,
The tiger, he told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was being the victim to demand Zata repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and the inconscient Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen.
I think we now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre.
I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket, was that your doing as well? No, I know nothing about that. Making it look like it was Mackie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable.
Mr. Godot,
You will summon this Furio Tigre as witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow.
30 minutes.
What?
The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. How the... Don't sit back and relax yet, Trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way.
Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess.
To be continued. Okay, then. This has been really interesting, and yeah, well then, we're almost done with a recipe for Turnabout. So, in the next part, we are gonna go, get Furio Tigre and get that motherfucker and take him down. Especially what's going on. So, this has been Agent Fluffy, and I will save, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye! Hey everyone, Agent Fluffy here, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to support me even more, feel free to support my Patreon. The links are right here.